Good evening to tonight's BullCharts Remote User Group webinar. I'm now showing the agenda that we used for last Wednesday's Melbourne meeting in Oakley, and we had Ross McLaren talk to us about the Keltner channel. The second item was to talk about how to load, copy, install a supplied scan or indicator into your BullCharts, and we had one of our local users here in Melbourne, Des, walk us through how to do that. There are a couple of different ways to do it. One way is to copy files around. That's what I usually do. Des showed us a different method, and we'll get Des to walk us through that in just a moment. I'll skip across to the minutes from last week's session because there's a little bit more information in there. We had a total of 10 people who managed to participate and 2 who couldn't, so that would have been a group of 12 if only one had been there. Des, it's all yours if you want to proceed with the second presentation for us. Thanks.
Sure. Okay. From time to time, I pass indicators and bits of bull script code to Robert and to others. And whilst it's very straightforward and obvious and intuitive to those of us that do it, I think Robert sort of pulled my ear one day and said, hey, it's not so easy for a lot of people because when you do it all the time, it is easy, but sometimes it would be worthwhile demonstrating how we do that at a simple level to make everybody comfortable with going through the process of moving an indicator across into your system. So what I've done here is I have pulled together 3 indicators. 2 of them are very, very simple ones, and the third one is a bit more complex, a bit more industry strength. And the idea being, if we demonstrate on the simple ones, and then we can pull across the third one to demonstrate what you might do in the real world. So first of all, what I've opened here is an email that I've sent to Robert, which is normally what I would do. I'll say, hey, Robert, how are you going? Here's a couple of indicators you might want to run with. And I've sent this email to Robert to demonstrate the process. I have said in the email, you can see there are 3 indicators, a 712 crossover indicator, a very simple indicator just showing the EMA 7 and EMA 12 crossover onto a chart. The second indicator is the same thing, but as a ribbon. And some of you may be aware, but I certainly would view that ribbons simplify the screen dramatically. And where possible, I will put a ribbon along the bottom in preference to even more lines on the chart, because the chart can get very, very cluttered and the information you're trying to get across can become hidden. And then the last one is the more industry strength indicator. Some of you may be aware that I have this concept of a 1-minute manager indicator. It's an indicator you put up at the beginning of the day. If you're in a hurry, you just zap through your stocks that you hold, and in 1 minute you can know what you want to do. And if the indicator is saying you're good for the day, you can go off and have a game of golf. So those are the 3 indicators. If I scroll down the screen, you'll see that the 3 indicators I have attached to this email as just bits of text. And that's one way I would normally send an indicator to somebody. I just copy the indicator from BullCharts, the bull script that is the indicator. I put them into a text file using Notepad, and then I just attach them to the email, and they would appear like this. If it's a very short indicator, or even sometimes for a longer indicator, I may in fact just cut and paste the code into the body of the email like this. So I've put just a row of asterisks, top and bottom, and the bit in between is the indicator itself. So that's if it's a cheap and cheerful indicator, or if it's somebody I know well, and I know what they know what they're doing, I might just throw even a large indicator in like this, and they'll be able to extract that and put it into their system. Either which way, first and foremost, that's the way I get pieces of bull script code to somebody else when I want to send it to them. So let's go to the first indicator, the 712 crossover. I download the file. I open the file, and that's opened in Notepad. I just cut all of that, copy it. Let's get rid of that. And then I'll go into BullCharts. On the clipboard, I have the code for that chart, and I want to for that indicator, and I want to take that code and create that as an indicator within my BullChart system. To do that, I go to the top left. I go to Insert. I want to insert something. What do I want to do? I want to insert an indicator, and it comes up with the indicator panel. What I want to do now, I want to build an indicator. I want to build a new one. And it comes up with the panel that says, okay, tell me what you want. I'll just paste into that. So that's the code that I had that was in the email attachment. I'll give that a name. And here's a little trick for anyone that makes indicators, and you want to have an indicator that has a name that makes sense to you. BullCharts takes the first letter of each word in the indicator name and uses that as the abbreviation. So if I say C space R space O space S space S, space indicator, that BullCharts thinks is 8 words, and it'll take the first letter of each word and use that as the name of the indicator. You'll see why that's kind of cute. That's the indicator. I'm happy with that. Okay. Normally, when you make an indicator yourself, you want to have it somewhere convenient to you, and that's you put them onto the indicator bar. So I'm going to add that to the indicator bar. It comes down here. There's the name of the indicator, cross indicator. We'll give it a name for the bar. I'll just call that cross, and I'll apply that. Okay. And when you do that, that comes onto your bar as the last indicator in that bar, and that allows you to call up that indicator. If you want to play around with where it is on the bar, you can go back into that, move that up, apply it, and you see that now appears on the bar on the main screen. To run that indicator, we just click on it, insert indicator finish, and there's that indicator. That's a 7 on 12 crossover using EMAs, and it is colored green for up and red for down. That's a pretty simple, straightforward indicator. It's only got 6 lines of code, and it's 7 and 12s are EMAs that I like. And that has some meaning, I think, to many people. But that is an indicator drawn on the chart, and sometimes that can become a bit cluttered if you have lots of things there. So what I want to do is I want to now create another indicator similar to that, but it's a ribbon indicator. And my good friend has sent me that indicator in the email. So here's the email with the three files attached. This file is crossover 712 ribbon, so I'll download that. And you can see that this is a almost trivial indicator. It's got a little bit of description. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 statements in it. It doesn't come much simpler than that. So we'll copy that. We'll go back into BullCharts. We'll go through the same process. We're going to insert an indicator. We're going to build a new one. We're going to put that code into there. So this is a ribbon. You can see target is ribbon. That says this indicator is going to display as a ribbon, not as lines on the price pane. I'll give it a name. Cross rib. Okay. And as we said before, we want to hang on to this, so we'll put it onto the indicator toolbar. We'll add it to the indicator toolbar. It goes to the bottom of the indicator toolbar. I'll give it a name that makes sense, and I'll move it up the toolbar to be next to its comrade. I'll apply that. So I've taken that indicator and I've put it onto the indicator toolbar. And if I click on it, there you have a ribbon giving you exactly the same information as is on the chart from the previous indicator. For my eyes, it's much easier to read that ribbon than to look at the intricacies within the chart. So we've got the same information presented in two different ways. You know, up to you to decide which way is better for you. I've made my choice clear, but you can do what you like with that. If you look at the top bar here, you'll see it says cross IND for cross indicator. That is because I put the C space R space O space S IND. That's how you can get sensible names in an indicator on your screen and let you know exactly what it is. Little trick for those that want to use it.
We're happy to take questions, no matter how basic. So we can pause for a moment and give everyone a chance.
Can I ask if has anybody done that, or is that double Dutch? Is that all trivial in history to a lot of people?
David?
Yeah, I've done it several times, because sometimes I like colour, as I've said before, and I go and have a look at another indicator and see if there's some way I can utilise some of the coding, and then I just copy and paste. Yeah. It's really quite simple.
Yeah.
I don't think it's difficult, but it's just getting the knack of it.
Yeah, and I think once you've seen it the first time, Michael, I think you were next with some comments there. Thanks, Michael.
Yes, thank you, Des, for your presentation. It's very good. Yes, I've installed your indicators and played around them, and one thing I find, they're very easy on the eye. Rather than looking at charts, the wave chart indicator, I find the ribbons very good. As soon as you glance at it, you can tell what's going on. But one question I thought, I did notice your 7 on 12 in your, I think it was 12 on 24. Can you combine them so it's sort of cutting out a step where you're putting in the two indicators as one, or not?
I'm not sure quite what you mean. You can't combine a ribbon and a line because they are fundamentally different, but you could have a 7 on 12 and 24 and a 16 all together on the same chart, and that could be all within one indicator. Does that make sense?
Yes, that's what I was looking at, is combining the 7 on 12 and the 12 on 24 to put them all on in one go. So if you put the two lots of your text on the one indicator, would they work fine, or would it create problems?
No, they would work fine, no problem. Except that it might become a bit cluttered, a bit confused. I'm just looking here. I don't actually have. I do have an indicator where I have multiple moving averages on it, but in one of my latest tidy ups, I've tidied it away to oblivion.
Let's ask if there are any more questions, and I think Alec is waiting.
Yeah, oh, look, really a comment, Des. Thank you very much for the presentation. I have used the process that you've mentioned for some while, and I do find that it, after you've done it a few times, it's fairly straightforward, and it does allow you the opportunity to copy indicators from other people, or take existing indicators and manipulate them to suit the particular outcome that you're looking for.
Yep, Alec, thank you.